Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafting on a Budget. Last night we created this beautiful little micro mini notepad using Angela Holt's designs, and I wanted to recreate something similar to this, but I wanted to give you the right measurements. I know it was kind of chaotic last night. We were trying to figure it out. It was kind of winging it type of a night, and when I launched into this, I wasn't sure about sizes or measurements or anything like that. I had a basic idea of how I wanted to do this, but not quite sure exactly how we were going to deliver the finished project. So my inspiration came from two sources. One was this Tuesday morning little notepad that has a magnetic clip on it, and it cost $1.99. I thought that was really cute, especially since I'm always forgetting something and I need to write little notes to remind myself. And this is something I can easily slip into my purse, make little notes as I'm shopping, or for school or the kids or whatever. The other place that I saw something like this similar was from the Posh Paper Lady. I think it's her YouTube channel. She makes beautiful little notepads or notebooks using Dollar Tree's notebooks. So I thought, you know what? We could do something similar to that. I just wanted something that had a little bit of a closure like this, and something that I could reuse over and over again with a little bit of collaboration, with some of my friends, both Penny and Nana. We were able to come and tweak something to make it work for what I wanted. So this is what we're going to create, and as you can see, it has a little magnetic mechanism there. It has the little notepad, and it comes easily in and out, just slides right in there with so much ease, and we seal it shut. And this is using Angela Holt's digital designs for her micro mini Christmas. I will put the link below so that you can head on over there and make that purchase. But today I'm going to be using some other little graphics, or not graphic paper, and I'm going to use the Authentique 'Twas the Night Before Christmas Volume 2 from actually this is Echo Park, sorry. 'Twas the Night Before Christmas Volume 2, Echo Park, and I purchased it at Tuesday morning for $5.99. Okay, so what do we need to create this? We need several things. You need score tape. You need Fabri-Tac. You need your bone folder. I prefer this bone folder. I have a link below. You can use my Amazon link to make this purchase on Amazon. I love this little thing because it really gets in there. You need your ruler, of course, just to check, double check, and always triple check. You will need a Dollar Tree notepad, and you can find this at Dollar Tree for $1, and you can use and make several out of $1 notepad. You will need, of course I said this, X-Acto knife to cut, or your paper cutter. I'm going to use my little piercing tool to remove my adhesive backing. Your scissors, of course. I use several, either Tim Holtz or these little tiny ones that Young Sue gifted me. Sometimes we have some seepage from our glue, so these little rubber eraser are great to remove the adhesive. A pencil if you need to make your marking. Your decorative paper, and of course, like I said, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas Volume 2 from Echo Park. I'm using craft cardstock from Hobby Lobby. I cut a 12-inch cardstock, and I'm also using some thick medium size weight chipboard, and below I have a link where you can purchase these. Okay, and of course embellishment, and oh, your hot glue. You're going to definitely need your hot glue. As I'm looking to my right, I see my hot glue. So you will definitely need your hot glue for this project, and if you don't have your glue gun on, go ahead, run over there and turn it on, because we're going to need that to complete that project. And if you have a little silicone, this is a little silicone makeup brush, you can use that. It makes it easier for your glue. And also I'm going to use Vintage Photos probably to distress my edges. So let's get started. The first thing that you're going to do, move some of this stuff because I got too much on in front of me. The very first thing that you're going to do is go and grab your paper pad and cut it at 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Again, 2 3/4 by 3 3/4 is what you're going to cut your paper pad. Of course, your paper pad comes like this. All you need to do is take a little stack of it and cut. If you're going to make several of them, just make the cuts whatever size you want. Cut it with either your X-Acto knife, your paper trimmer, which is what I did. I actually ended up taking out a couple sheets and taking the time of doing it with my paper trimmer so that I can have precise cuts. And so I just kind of took little small stacks because I know that my paper cutter is not the best, and cut it like that. So you'll need about a 1/4 inch thickness. I'm not counting the sheets, so it's about a 1/4 inch of thickness is what I'm going to use for this project. See, 1/4 inch. So you're going to need that. Cut. Then you're going to need a piece of chipboard, and I got to get my little measurements here. You're going to need a piece of chipboard that is 2 3/4, and I'll write this here so y'all can see, 2 3/4 inch wide by 3 3/4 inch long. Okay, that's going to be for your paper backing. This is going to be mounted right on top. So 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, one piece of chipboard. That is for your little notepad. Then for your base, which is what you're going to wrap all your chipboard in, you're going to need a piece of craft cardstock or any cardstock that is thick, that is 5 inches wide by 12 inches, one piece, and another piece that's 5 inches wide by 3 inches. And this is where you're going to need your score tape, and I'm using a 1/4 inch score tape. In the links below, you're going to see my Amazon account. You can purchase this, and I appreciate if you would, because it helps me out a lot if you would use my little links. And if I could find my scissors, I'm sure it's buried here. There you go. So 1/4 inch, put that aside, grab your bone folder, burnish that. I love this little bone folder because it really gets in. My little tool here. And you'll need a little piercing mat if you're going to be trimming anything out, because oftentimes you might have to trim. Okay, here we go. So I have my yucky one, so it looks kind of yucky. It has its significant purpose. It's because I use that to be able to trim anything that I don't want it to damage my table surface. Okay, let me change my camera here a tad bit. There we go. Okay, so then put my stuff in the trash so I can clean up after myself. So we have that. That is our mat. Okay. Then we have a piece of chipboard that is 3 by 4. Another piece of chipboard that is 3 by 3/4. And another piece of chipboard that's 3 by 3 1/2. That is the outside, the 3 flaps that goes for your cover. Okay, so again, we have one that is 3 inches by 4 inch, another that is 3 inches by 3 1/4 inch, and well, that's a 3 1/2, sorry. So you have the 3 1/2, and then you have the 3 inch by 3 1/4. So I'll repeat it because I just wrote the one size in the wrong place. So you have one piece that's 3 by 4, one piece that's 3 by 3/4, and one piece that's 3 by 3 1/2. That is the flaps, the mechanism that holds our journals or our notebook, and it's reusable. So that's why I went this way, this route. Oh, and you also need some magnets. I forgot to mention that, so I'm going to go ahead and pull out my magnets. That way I'm not forgetting. You could probably use like a ribbon or whatever. These are really strong magnets. I'll put the link below if you guys are interested in getting this from the Amazon. They're strong, super strong magnets. Look at that. Whew, baby. Let me get my little sticker that goes with them. Look at that. Kid you not. See how strong those magnets are? These are super duper strong magnets. You guys will want to have these magnets. Trust me, you will. You're not going to go wrong with it. Alright, we're going to go that way. Okay. Alright. Then for your decorative paper for the outside covers, once you've had it matted, you're going to get one piece that is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, and that will lay like that. Then you're going to get another one that is 2 3/4 by 3 1/2, 2 3/4 wide by 3 1/2, and then your last one is 2 3/4 by 3/4, like that. Then you're going to need another little decorative piece, and what I'm talking about is these little mattings here. So that's that there, and then this piece here is this one here, and this little decorative piece is, I think, 2 1/4 by 2 3/4, 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. Okay. All right, so that's where the little picture is. Okay, so that's that goes right on top of that one. Put those aside. Then you need 2 pieces of chipboard that is 1/2 inch by 3 inch, 1/2 inch by 3 inch. You need 2 pieces of that. I need to cut here, right here. 2 inches, 1/2 inch by 3 inches. You need 2 pieces. Then you need, of your decorative paper, 6/8 inch by 2 3/4 inch. 6/8 by 2 3/4. Okay, 2 pieces. Then this is for the inside. You need 1 piece that is 2 3/4 by 6 1/8. 2 3/4 by 6 1/8. You need 1 piece. Then 2 3/4 by 5 7/8. And basically this is just the leftover of this here. Those 2 pieces. And then you need a piece that's 1 inch by 2 3/4. And then these are for the inside, and we're just going to cut these out. So these are 2 pieces. This is for pockets. 2 pieces that are 2 1/2 by 2 3/4, and we're just making pockets for that. Okay, as I'm gluing down, I will run by the measurements again. All right, so let's begin. The first thing that I like to do is I'm going to leave about 1 inch of a seam on each side. So the first thing I'm going to do, let me find little, I'm going to mark my, this is not long enough, my paper at 1 inch on the border. on each side. And I guess I should do it with, let me move this one because this mat is not long enough and we need long. Alright, let's move that there. And the reason I do this is because that's where I'm gonna, it's for placement of my pieces. I want to be sure that my pieces are laid in the right place, and just to make sure that that is, I always make a little bit of a marking for my placement so that I know that it's going there. Alright, so I just take my pencil, we'll mark it, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side at 1 inch. That way I know I have a 1 inch seam. And then I'll do the same thing on the bottom. I'll do a marking so that way we're putting it right there at the bottom with a 1 inch like that. Okay. Move this back because I don't want to get my good mat all yucky. Alright. So I have my 1 inch seams top and bottom. And then I'm going to take my little matting, my little chipboards, just move my little tiny pieces of chipboard. That there, that there, that's that there, and right there. Alright, so the first one, this one goes here, and then this one is on the there, and this is in the inside. I'm going to zoom just a little bit so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. Alright, so I don't know if you guys can see my paper. Maybe I need to do it this way. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so here's my little line. See? And that's going to fit right in between my lines, sitting right on top of those lines that I made for my marking. And then I have my 1/2 inch, which is the flap. Then I have the little tiny 1/2 inch right there in between, sandwich in between those 3.5 inch and the 4 inch. Then I'll have another 1/2 inch, and then the last piece goes there. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to grab my wet glue, and I'm using Fabri-Tac because Fabri-Tac, believe it or not, does not warp. Actually, it's pretty good for this kind of stuff. I actually like it on metal as well. Glue is pretty fast. Put that there, my lid on. You put your lid on, it's not going to get gummy. If you do get it gummy, just add a little bit of acetone. So I'm just going to place that right on that line. Then I'm going to grab my 1/2 inch by 3 inch chipboard. If you can also use cereal boxes if you want. And I'm going to use my ruler as a guide for my gusset. Okay, press down a little bit firmly on that. And I'm going to do, let me clean that little gumminess there. Now I'm going to put down the 3x4 chipboard. Again, use your ruler as a little gusset piece. Press down firmly. I try not to move it too much till I get a little bit of a contact in there. And then I'm going to go again with my 1/2 inch. My ruler. And press down firmly so you get nice contact there. Not sure why that one wants to move. There we go. And then this is the 3" by 3¼ inch piece of chipboard. And use your ruler. As you can see, it fell right into place, right between those lines. And those lines are my little, just helps me keep it all in place. Okay. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip it down this way, and I'm just going to try to use this back part of my bone folder and press down on it. It's not lifting. And you can really go all out with these. You can add a little, make it into a keychain and have it dangling from your purse or your school backpack. You can add all kinds of little neat embellishments. You can also make it out of fabric. I think I'm going to try to make one out of fabric because I think that would be neat. Alright, I'm going to flip it this way. Now I'm going to go ahead and burnish as well. Okay, now you see these little, I'm going to use my ruler here. It's flush against this and my pencil just to mark that where I'm going to miter my edge there. And then I'm just going to take my little small scissors and snip these right at that triangle. I like it this way. I think it makes a cleaner, mitered edge. I'm sorry, I'm trying to cut backwards and I guess I shouldn't do that. Way. It really is hard to cut sideways that way. I'm off camera, I know. Still trying to figure out what's the best position. I think I need to put like a little shelf just a little bit lower where this is gonna it's a swing arm, so it kind of makes it really hard to position it. Now I'm just going to take my scissors and just kind of with the tip of my scissor, I'm just going to make a small little snip. I'm going to put my scissors right up to the edge of that chipboard, and I'm just going to make a little small slit like that. See, it makes it easier, and I think it just makes it look cleaner and nicer. Again, flush it against that chipboard. Bam, right there. Oops. There we go. You got flying papers everywhere. There we go. So it just kind of makes it cleaner, I think. All right, let's clean up all this. All right. Should have a little container with trash there on my desk. All right, so then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my score tape. I'm going to zoom out a little. For some reason, if I try to move my score, it wants to go like extremely high. All right, well, we're going to go just on the outer edge here. I'm going to take my score tape and just going to go on the outside, and then we'll do the inside of the chipboard. So once I have these, what I do is I go on here, on this lip here of the chipboard, right on top, and I lay it right smack in there as well. And I'm going to do that with all this, and I'm not going to bore you while I do this because this is pretty boring. I just snip, just like that. I'm going to do this all the way around to each little piece, just like that. Just like so. See? We're going to do that. So I'll be back. I'll have this done and we'll continue. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of get in here into these little folds. Kind of get them prepped up, ready for what we're about to put it through, right? And I'm going to do the same thing for the outside. Now this is a really thick cardstock. It is a very thick, I love this card stock from Hobby Lobby. It's my favorite one, and I starting to center go out. It is very thick. It's almost like the brown paper bag that you used to get at the grocery store. It's so sturdy. I love this stuff. Anyway, so we have that. Take your bone folder. You can kind of, without breaking it, you can burnish in there as well. Help it out a little. You don't want to break it, but you want to kind of help because it is kind of thick. Okay. Just kind of give it a little bit of a boosting help there. Okay. All right, now we're going to glue. I'm just going to remove the backing of these. I really need to get a little trash bin in here. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. And I'm just going to start in the center, work my way out, pressing down. My bone folder, trying to get in that little gusset. Not enough to break it, but you know, burnish it in really good. Kind of help it a little. Flip it the other way. Do the same thing. Okay. I don't think you need to see that. I'm just going to go ahead and do it, and then we'll be back when it's done. Okay, so we have it all nice and covered, as you see there. And I'm just going to use this part of my bone folder. I'm going to put it right in that gusset and kind of help it a little bit to score it right where it needs to be scored. And then do the same thing on the other side. And I'm just trying to make sure I'm not even tearing into that. That's important as well. Okay. All right. So then we're left with something that looks like so. Okay. Almost looks like the little lap book that I made a couple months ago. Now, before you put your decorative paper, you need to put your magnet both here and on this part. This is the lid, and this part here. It needs to have the magnet on there, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, remove the backing, the magnet. And then that should go. I just removed the backing on one side. And then I kind of figure where it needs to go, and then remove the backing on the other. And just kind of press in there, like so. Okay, so you'll have something like that. Okay. All right, press down on that to make sure you have good contact. Now, you can take your distress ink and you can distress. I use parchment paper for my distressing because I am just the kind of person that I don't want to sit here and clean too much. I want to be able to toss it and go. You get this cheap parchment paper at Dollar Tree, or wax paper, whatever you want to call it, and for $1 I can just cut a piece and run and throw it in the trash. I like using my little makeup brushes, so you can just go in and distress however you want, and you don't have to do this. Some people don't even like doing the distressing. I like the vintage look, so again, this is entirely up to you. It's a personal preference, I would say. But I don't know about you guys. I definitely do not, I repeat, I don't like to sit down and clean right after my mats, especially my mats. Oh my god, it used to be so annoying to clean my craft mats, and so now I just use this disposable wax paper because it just makes life easier and quicker. It really does. And I have a personal preference to vintage photos. You can use any distress inks you want. Or not. Again, it's a personal preference. You don't have to do this part. I'm going to do the same thing for my inside. Now again, remember this is 2 3/4 by 6 1/8, one piece. You can sew this, you can stitch it before you put it down to give it more of a unique look if you want. I'm choosing not to do that today because I'm just showing you guys a cute little project you guys can do for the holidays and give it as gift, as stocking stuffers. Definitely does not cost $1.99 to make this. As you can see, you can make several little notebooks from that little paper pad from Dollar Tree. So very affordable little project. It really is Once we got it down pack, it's very easy to create. I'm going to go ahead and distress these while I'm here. And the other piece was 2 3/4 by 5 7/8, and that was just the leftover from the 12-inch paper. Okay. And this is the inside mattings for the pockets, and I probably didn't even have to do that because I have to cut it in an angle. Now this is the 1 inch by 2 3/4. This is for the inside mattings. Okay. All right. So I'm going to head and move this over there because we're going to use that again. So let's work with, I don't think I need my paper cutter. I'm going to move that out of the way because I think that's just like too much added burden on my desk. Okay. Now I can zoom in, I think. There we go. All right. So we're going to get our 6 1/8 inch length one. I'm going to add a little bit of glue onto this little magnet. I'm just going to position it there. You know, a little seepage, just use your little rubber eraser and erase all the gummy stuff out. Just as easy as that. That is all it takes. And grab your other 2 3/4 by 5 7/8 and put it on the opposite side. And you see where that little 1 inch is going to go? Yep, it's going right in there. Exactly where it's going. You guessed that right. It's going right smacked in there. You guessed correctly if you guessed that. I'm going to go ahead and use the tip of my bone folder, gently lift up that lid or that flap, and just kind of pressed in. Just like that. With you want to be gentle. You don't want to break in anything, okay? Do the same thing on the opposite side. Just gently score in where those gussets are. And firmly press. Okie dokie. Now, 1 inch, 2 3/4 goes right there. We're just patching that up. Okay. It's not going to be seen because you're going to have a piece of chipboard that's going to be covering it, so you're really not going to see that too much. I know. If you're like me, you're probably like, but I couldn't find a piece of paper unless I sized it shorter or maybe took out an inch somewhere. 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch there. Maybe I wouldn't have to patch it up. I could have used a full 12-inch sheet of designer paper, but it just so happens that I didn't do that. So I would say try to match it up, but it's not gonna, really it's not gonna matter right there. I'm picky like that, but you know, you don't have to be that picky because that's going to be covered. Really, it is. Alright, so then we're left with this here, and that goes like that. Sorry, it goes like that. I was like, wait, what did I do wrong? Alright, so you're left with this here. Okay, for the inside, where you're going to put, you can put a piece of ribbon or whatever you want to put in. I have a 2-inch piece by 5-inch piece of craft cardstock, and if you take out your scoreboard, we're going to score it in a couple little spots so that we can create a belly band. And that little belly band is going to be scored at 1 inch, 1/8 of an inch, then run over to 3 7/8 of an inch, and at 4 inch. So you have like a 1/8 of an inch wiggle room so that you can stuff in your little notepads, because this is going to be reusable. So that's why I did it that way. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and burnish the first score line there. Burnish the second one. You have like a little, do the same thing on the other side. And so you'll have something like that. Okay. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to put that right in here, like so. Right where we put that little joining part, you know, right where we join it, about at least about a 1/2 of an inch up. It's going to cover that little area. You can distress it, and I'm going to distress it. No one's going to really see that, but you can distress it. Okay. Grab our score tape. You know, some people hold this like this. I can't because my fingers cramp up and they lock in. It's hard for me. I can't see how people hold it like that. I can't. I've never been able to because my fingers starts to lock up. Okay. Right. That's going to go going to put down one side first, and I'm going in, and I have my mat here, I can see. I'm going in about a 1/2 inch up from where that score is. Put down one side. To the other side. There, just drop it in place. Drop it like it's hot. Okay, so now that's our little belly band for the inside, and that's where our little book's going to go in. Now we're going to work on the outside decorative pieces. Get this mess held down in place. Alright, so you have your one decorative piece for the outside, which is your folder mat. And this one is 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. Then you have one decorative piece that is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then you have one that is 2 3/4 by 3 1/2. And then 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. Okay, and that should do it. Oh, and then you have two pieces that are 6/8 by 2 3/4 inch wide. It should, you might have to trim, yeah, we might have to trim just a tad bit. I couldn't get it any more smaller than that on my little cutter, but we might just trim just a tad bit of that. Just the hairline of it. Okay. And we're just going to get our little mat and our X-Acto knife and trim a hairline of that. I'm going to move that aside because I think we're done with it for now. I'm going to move this aside. And this is like, you can keep using it over and over if you choose. Okay, so this one goes, as you can see, there's different mattings. This one will go here, right there. Actually, this one goes here. That one goes there, and then this one goes in the back. Alright, so the 2 3/4 by 3 1/4 goes in the small flap. Ooh, man overboard. Boy, I'm going to have to use that little eraser thing. Clumsy hands. Wah. Wakata. Okay. burnish it in. I'm going to let that dry up a little, and then I'm going to come in with my little rubbery eraser and remove the adhesive on that. Now this is the 2 3/4 by 3.5 that goes in. Make sure you put some glue on that magnet. It is a little bit thick of a magnet. It's not as thin, so you're going to have to burnish that in really good. Okay. Again, you can just come back in with your little rubbery eraser. And if you don't have a magnet, maybe try a Velcro. That just is good. A Velcro. I have some Velcros from Dollar Tree that work just as great if you don't have a magnet, okay? Alright. So I'm going to come back when it's completely more dried and less gummy, so that I can use my eraser on it, my rubber eraser. Okay. And again, you could have stitched these and it would have given it a nice little unique look as well. To hold it in place and then burnish so it's not moving, because it's liquid. I like the liquid because it's a little bit more forgiving than the score tape. Gives you a little bit of wiggle room to move things around. Okay, so we have that. Now this one's going to go right there, like so. This is the 2/4 by 2 3/4 photo mat. And this is "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" from Volume 2 from Echo Park. And I'm just going to go right in the middle of all that. Okay. Alright, now these, I'm just going to cut it in an angle, so I'm going to get my X-Acto knife. If I can. And I'm just cutting it in an angle. Corner to corner, tip to tip. I don't have a steady hand, as you guys can see. Really, and then you can flip it. It's got a nice, I like this little Christmas part, so you could use the other one if you wanted, like here, like so, like that, but we'll use that for something else. I liked that's gonna go there. Okay. And we're going going to distress this because I distressed the wrong side, May. I'm just going to do an L. And about 1/8 of an inch from the one side. And from where the little score line is, about 1/8. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. And an L. I'm going to clean my tip so that it's not so gummy. I'm going about 1/8 of an inch from the outside and from the bottom. And I'm just eyeballing it. And each seepage, we're going to come back with the rubber eraser. Okay? Like so. Alright. So we have those intact. Now these we're just going to cut a little bit of a hairline off of this. This is for the spine. And remember, you can use a little beads also. And I had one little bead here. I think that might fit. You guys know I like to add these little charms, these little bohemian charms. And I'm just going to use this here. I'm going to snip about about 1/8 of an inch, and I'm just going to duplicate it. Flip it on the other side so I can see. And I could have just snipped it with the scissors. There you go. Now let's distress that. Do the same thing over here because we just kind of chomped off a piece. Okay. These little pieces, I can't hold on to these little tiny things. I have such a hard time holding on to tiny little things. See why I like using my dirty mat? I don't like using a new cutting mat to do something like this. I just don't. So that sits right in there. Same thing on the other side. I'm sure it's a little bit, probably about a 5/8 of an inch. I just have a hard time with my paper cutter cutting something small like that. It just doesn't have the give. Okay. I'm going to let all that dry up good so that I can come back and remove the gummies. and we'll be back. Okay, so now we have our little papers that we've cut 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, and I have my little silicone makeup spatula, and it works great for this. Trust me, it does. You don't get burnt. All right, I have my binder clips, one on the side, one on the bottom, to hold it in place. I'm just going to take my hot glue, and I'm just going to run a bead of glue on top, just like so. Take my spatula and run it across like you would with icing. You would do that. Okay, then I'm going to let it kind of sit and get used to the idea that it's being glued down. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to put another coat on. Grab our spatula and slide it through. Okay, just like that. We're going to let that dry, and then, since this is silicone, it's going to come right off very easily. Then, once that dries up, we could snip off any of the little overhangs that you have. Just snip it off. And then you're going to take about a 1/4 inch. You're going to glue that down. But before we do that, let's let this cool off, and we'll be back. Okay? Okay, so now it's dried and shiny. As you can see, we're just going to snip a little extra. For this, you might want like a thin pair of scissors, like the little tiny precise cuts. Believe it or not, I do have Tim Holtz. I just don't really care for it. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. Once you feel comfortable with it, remove your paper binder clips and grab your 2 3/4 inch by 3 3/4 inch, and you're going to glue that down just like that. And we can cover this in, because as you can see, or I'm just going to use my pencil because this is going to be reusable. I'm just going to remove the marks because I use that just to let you guys know what it was. Again, you're going to need, and you can use a thick cardstock. I just found that to insert it inside this little piece here that we have, the chipboard was better. We tried the cardstock, it wasn't as good unless you have really thick cardstock. Alright, so then we have that, and then what we're going to do is grab our little notebook. We're going to put about a 1/4 inch of glue. And then glue that right down. And this is the part that, you know, you can probably keep using this little piece of cardstock or chipboard. Press down. Any oozing, you can trim it off with your scissors. Let it dry up, and all that oozing, we can come in and just kind of, but you want to make sure it makes good contact. see, it's better when you wait till it cools off. I was impatient. Better when it cools off. And you don't want to use any other, because this is more like a rubber, unless you use like that we were talking last night, rubber cement, which I don't really recommend. I know we use that a lot in school, but the vapors from that is not good for you. So the other alternative to a rubbery sticky adhesive that is a little bit more affordable would be this hot glue. Okay. Alright. There you have it. Then that can slip in like so. Better slip in there. And there. Isn't that pretty neat? Let's probably trim a little bit more of this here. So then you're left with that. And then you can close it up like that, and then you can start decorating it however you want. But you guys know I got all that little glue glob. We're going to use our little rubber eraser and remove all our glue globs or gobs. Okay, that's pretty much it. I am going to take my decorative pieces, put that down there a little bit, and I'm going to decorate my little album. And I will put a picture at the end of what mine's look like once it's decorated. And you can put ribbon, you can put whatever you guys decide you want. You can put whatever your heart desires to decorate yours. And what I'm going to do, right there, I didn't do a good job gluing there, huh? What I'm going to do is probably go in here with my vintage photos and kind of, don't forget Angela Holt has her little collection for the mini micro. You can use it for this as well. And I have some glue up there that I need to remove. Thank God for this little thing. It really is a lifesaver. So I have some washi tape that I might use, like a little bit of that gold one. This is like a little Christmas Martha Stewart washi tape. And I might do a little bit of that here. Snip off that first bit. Got a little bit of color pop there. I think it'll look cute, so I might snip a little bit of that along the way here. Attach that piece. It's adhesive, I think. And we're going to probably put a piece of that there and a piece on the top. And I got some of the stuff from the Night Before Christmas Volume 2, and I'm probably going to grab a couple of these to decorate because it came with some sticker sheets. And so that, along with some ribbon, you could really go to town and decorate your little album and make it whatever you want. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I like this one. This one's cute. I could go there. I'll probably put it on a backing of something because it needs to be like three-dimensional for me. But what I did with my other one is I used this, wrapped it around inside, and made a little flower. I'm probably going to use this color though, just to give it a different color feel to it. But I'm going to go ahead and decorate mine, and I will give you guys the end. You'll see at the end what I did with the end results. I just wanted to show you guys how easy it was to create this. I know that we were all trying to figure something out, and I even like to add a little bit of this, so I might cut a piece of this and go we were all trying to come up with something. I like that piece of corrugated with that is chalk paint on it, and we all had an idea. So basically what I'm probably going to do is take this here and wrap it around like so and make a little bow and call it my project. Okay, so again, like I said, feel free to create these for the holidays, for your stocking stuffers. It's very easy to make once you have the right measurements. It is so easy, and I'm sure someone's going to love to have this. And you can also do the same thing with fabric, and the next one I'm going to do is fabric. Now here's another little thing you could do before you put the notebook. Well, actually you could even do it now. Here you can pierce a little hole right there and have a little chunky charm. How neat would that be, hanging from the side of your notebook? And I might do that. I think I might do that just to give this a little bit of a different feel to it. But how fun are these? And just imagine who would not want to receive something like this in their stocking. It's so easy to make for the holidays. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you have not done so already, please share the video out with your friends and let them know that I'm back to crafting. Sharing is caring, and I really appreciate all of you guys that are sharing my videos. And don't forget to hit the like button as well, and let me know what you guys think. Till next time, guys. Bye bye.